We're going to cook a very classic Indian Punjabi dish, Aloo Gobi. So what we've got for this is your gobi, which is cauliflower. And what we're doing with cauliflower is cook the leaves off, and we've left them in quite chunky florets. And we want them in florets because that keeps it together, otherwise it'll crumble when we make it. So we want the shape retained. That's one cauliflower. What we've done is we took the leaves off the cauliflower and we've also dice them up. I'm going to dice them up a little bit finer than that. So we're going to use the leaves as well. That goes in. Three potatoes there to one cauliflower, and they're quite chunky, as you can see, quite chunky pieces. Again, we don't want it to mush up too much. Selection of spices: turmeric, salt, pepper, garam masala, chili flakes, and your diced onions. First, a little bit of sunflower oil. I'm using just normal sunflower oil, and we're putting the onions in, and we're going to fry them off. And what I'm going to do is add all the spices to this. Basically, this is what your torka is. So when you see torka or tarka, as it's spelled in English, torka is basically your onions being fried with your spices, and I'm going to put some ginger in there, fresh, fine chopped ginger. Will all go in there, and we'll brown them off nice. Onions are browning off nicely with all the spices. The turmeric's gone in there, salt, garam masala, a few chili flakes, and the ginger's gone in there. Again, you sort of play around with the spices. I've sort of put just over a teaspoon of each in, a little bit more as we go along. So you might add things in towards the end, a little bit of salt and pepper if you don't think it's enough. Do it to your taste. And what we're going to do is, once these brown off, we're going to throw those finely shredded leaves of the cauliflower into the torka as well. Quickly got a bit of advice. As you can see, it was burning. The garam masala, we usually put that in at the end. That actually starts burning, so that was my schoolboy error. I put the garam masala in with all the spices, but hey, we live and learn. But what I've done is I've put a little bit extra oil in there, or you can just put a little bit of water in, just a few drops of water, which will just clear the pan at the bottom so it doesn't burn. You can see they go in first, the reason because they take a little bit longer to cook, so we don't want any hard spuds. So we haven't blanched them or boiled them, they've just gone in nice thick diced, so they're going to take a bit of time to cook. Just going to stir the spices in. As you can see, the turmeric coats them, turning into that lovely golden yellow colour, and let them cook away in the heat, which is again quite low. Let it cook slowly, don't rush it. Takes a few minutes just to get this right. This is actually the first time I've ever cooked aloo gobi, so it's a bit experimental for me. I usually just eat it. I'm going to leave them just to cook at a very low heat. Now I'm going to cover them just for a few minutes, and we'll check them in a few minutes just to make sure they're soft, but not mush. We don't want mush. So we'll just cover them. Low heat. Make sure. I want to just keep it nice and low. There you go. So we'll leave that and we'll come back to it in a second. Leave that to cook for a very low heat, probably around 10 minutes. Let's put it into the centre of the stove. There you go. The gobi, the important bit is to leave them big enough so they don't crumble, but not too big that they don't cook. So I've tried to get them all fairly similar size. And then when I'm cutting down the stalk. So each floret has got a bit of stalk holding it together. Here we go, 10 minutes or so, and watch this. Whoa, there you go. Fill the room with smoke, and as you can see, nice golden brown, retaining their shape. Then we're going to add the cauliflower and just fold it in, no vigorous mixing. In goes the cauliflower, and like I said, it's hard to do with one hand, but try, and we're just going to fold it all in, and it will start taking the colour and coat it with all those potatoes. And we're going to cover it again to let it cook down some more. Folded the cauliflower in. As you can see, it's coated now with all those spices and the colour of the turmeric all taken. I'm going to cover that again and let it cook for a few more minutes. And it's a good 15 minutes, to be honest. I went away for too long, but here we go. There you go. That's ready. That is. I don't even have to touch. That is ready. I've took the heat off anyway, because you don't want it to overcook so it becomes mush. So still have that consistency of a potato and a cauliflower floret. And there you go. Throw some coriander in that if you want to. It's got greenery in there from the cauliflower leaves that we used anyway. Eat that with your chapatis. You know, atta flour with water in a dough, rolled thinly, and then cooked on a tawa or a frying pan if you haven't got one of them. Make it a little bit greener by putting coriander in, but guess what? We're isolated, so we don't have any. Or you could add peas just before the end, just put a few peas in and let them cook, so that adds a little bit of greenery to it. That's ready. Slightly overcooked, slightly, because I was too busy playing instruments with my boys. But anyway, the first thing we do is we offer that to our guru as Sikhs, and we get it blessed. So we won't eat any of it until we offer it to the Lord. So the Lord has his own special dishes. Look at that. Got his own spoon, his own steel. Very traditional to eat in Punjabi households in steel dishes. So we got those. You can get those from many shops now, steel dishes. Try it. So yeah, I'm going to pour that out to offer it to the Lord, and hopefully stay safe, everyone. Stay at home and give it a go. Aloo Gobi. Show you the chapati. I've called the sister in quickly on her break to do the chapati because I'm not very good at doing rotiyan. So again, atta flour, chapati flour, available for all Indian shops as long as you can fight away past all the others who want it as well. Water and punch and fold. Remember that technique we used with the paratha? Same, exactly the same. That was a paratha with stuff. This is not. So we're going to make it exactly the same way. Just really spend a bit of time kneading the potato. What have I got potatoes on my mind? The flour and the water together and make the dough. Make the dough, just leave it to rest. Leave it for a few minutes. Leave it for 10 minutes. Probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Good 10 minutes, let it rest. But take a golf size ball and you basically shape it into a disc with your hands, and you've just got to have a go and practice. And I'm not very good practice because I'll end up making the map of Wales or something. It won't be a round chapati like my sister's doing. So there you go, look at that. Roll it out nice and thin, not too thin that you can't lift it up, but not too thick that it doesn't cook. And that goes on the tawa, which has been on heat for quite a long time now, so nice and hot. Roll it nice and thinly, and on it goes. Cooking away, and as one cooks, the other one starts. In India, traditionally, this is all the fare that a lot of people eat. If you've got a couple of workers at your house at one time, they could get through 10 of these in one sitting, believe it or not, because they work so hard. So they need. So you'd have the woman of the household would probably make 50 or 60 in a day for their family, if not more. It was very common. So just the way life was, and still the way life is. So now men have a go. Oh look, can you see what we've done there? We took it off the tawa and we put it on a naked flame. Don't try this at home if you've not experienced, please. But this is very traditional to do it on the naked flame afterwards, just to finish off the cooking, and you put the butter on as it's still cooking. So people have it without butter, obviously, if you're high cholesterol or if you've got heart problems, or the doctor's told you to cut down on your fat. And there you go. Our Lord has his food ready.